Hello, getting started immediately. I'm going to work on the dice game today, finishing that up. I'm pretty close. I guess let me open my stickies. I always keep a little stickies. Stats reset button, that should be pretty straightforward. Then an options screen, so that's going to be good. I also wanted to do a second background. So the way the game is now, there's one background. It's just circles, but I'd like to do a second background idea. I was talking about this at the end of the live stream, so I want to just do that now. So let's just do that. A function, call it squares. So it's going to be squares instead of circles, but it's going to also be a little different. So, I guess local squares, we're going to do a table. We're going to do squares x equals negative 50, squares y equals negative 50, and this is going to be weird. I have a vision for how I want it to be, but squares dx equals math random, we'll say 1 to dx, 1 to 3, squares dy to 2. Okay, I do want to open my current thing because that has colors in it. So init, let's go there. There we go. Setup colors, we'll just do this the same way. So set up initial position and move speed, set up colors. And it'll just be the same. We'll just use the same colors. Pretty straightforward. But squares.colors, squares.colors. So I set it up as black, so on and off colors are equal to black. And then for the on color, I pick 1 through 3, so either R, G, or B, and I change it to like 0.25. And then for off, R, G, B, change it to 4.4, whatever. Okay, so I think that's probably enough here, so we can just then return squares. All right. So I'm just setting up squares, position that, all right? So I should have a function called move squares, dt, and then a function called draw squares. And they're going to be called up here. So in the draw, every tick you get a draw and an update. So when we update, we're going to move the squares. And then every tick we're to draw, we're going to draw the squares. So let's do drawing. Well, you know what? That's fine. Let's do moving first. So we can just say squares. It should be like squares.x equals that plus dx. We're going to do the same thing for y. So dx, dy, I don't know, this is pretty standard. I don't know if this is standard in game programming. It just means delta x or change in x. I think I've seen that in code. I don't think I made that up. I've always used that for my statistical programming, though. I've always used, like, if there's a change in a variable, I always use d and then variable name. So I don't know if I've seen it in code samples. I'm going to run out of water so fast. I'm like really thirsty. So we're going to change that, and then we're going to say if squares x is equal to 0, and squares x equal negative 50. So we're just gonna change where we start and stop drawing, I guess. So it's gonna be like, if you picture this window being the game window, it's gonna be starting up here, and the squares are gonna just go like this. They're just gonna move. And when they get to the bottom, actually, it's going to be like a checkerboard pattern. And when the first square of the checkerboard gets into the window, it's going to move it back. So it's just going to give the illusion that it's a scrolling background. That should be enough to handle that. Now, drawing square is going to be a little different. So I guess for I equals, I guess squares dot x. Until, let's see, the window is 1280. So we'll do 1280, and then we'll say by 50. So that's going to go like here, 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 here. And then we need for j, what we can actually do is x and y. Squares y, and that is 720, and that will also do by 50. Then we're going to draw a square in here. So it's love draw rect. Is it rect or rectangle? I think it's rect. We're going to do it fill. Oh, I should probably do a clear the background sort of thing too. So I don't know how to do that. Let's just, here we go. I'm going to clear the background first. It's going to be squares dot, I only have one square essentially, and it's just going to draw from that one square. Squares dot colors, and probably dot one. One. Yeah. It's like colors dot on is going to be 3 values, so we need to give all 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Fill, and then what is that going to be? That's going to be x, that's going to be y, then it's going to be width, and then it's going to be height, then it's going to be rotation, and then it's, I think that should be all we need. X, y, width, height. I think that's probably fine. And I should do this by 100, because it's going to be a checkerboard pattern. Now that one should be, that's just going to fill up the screen, isn't it? So what I can do is x plus 50, y plus 50. So yeah, then that should be okay. All right, we'll see how this looks. You know, I haven't thought about how I was going to actually do this. I just sort of was hoping I could figure it out. Let's actually, I'm going to go to love. I'm going to get, what was it, 16 squares. All right, let's see what happens. I think there's some problems. Attempt to index field draw. Draw squares in function draw. Line 41. Doesn't like line 41. Draw rect. Graphics. Graphics. Let's see. Graphics.circle. Yeah. Okay, what's the problem? Attempt to call field rect a nil value. So maybe it's rectangle. Yeah, there we go. That's a problem. It just scrolls off the field completely. So if it's equal to 0, let's just say if it's greater than or equal to 0. Get a little bit of a flicker happening. And maybe they're too small also. So let's make them bigger. Change all the values. Equal to 0. Let's say by 200. 100. Not really sure what's happening here. I'm also not sure about what's going on with the colors. To clear it, oh, I have to set the color. Which, how do I do that? Set color. All right, so, oh yeah, I'm not seeding in RNG, so it's the same color every time. So I just seed. Put that up in the load. So it'll just give me some variability. Oh, on everything, like the speed. Yeah, now that's going fine. Why was it flickering on the other speed? So that's a random speed, and that looks fine. Okay, so if it's going a certain speed, it's not really not happy. Okay. So I guess I have to think about this logically. What's going wrong with it? This should also be something like this. What do I do over here? 40. X times 40, Y times 20. All right. Okay, it's like when X gets to the edge. That's when there's problems. I wonder. I must have to change both of them. I think I understand what's happening. Faster. Be faster. Give me a fast one. Come on, give me a fast one. It's a little faster. So what was happening is it hits the edge of X where it needs to hit the edge, and then it goes back. But it only goes back 1. I wonder, you know what would probably fix that would be making this 200. That would probably fix that. Give me a fast one. Give me a fast one. Oh, come on, that's so slow. What is going on? Alright, I'll tell you what we're going to do here. Take out that seed. Game does not want to... Hey, Locke, how's it going? So, I think that's better. I think it fixes it. That's cool. Enjoy your lurk. Getting pretty close to finishing this game, so it should be released sometime in the next couple weeks. I'm hoping to upload it to itch. I'll set up a game developer website for it, and then I'll put it on GitHub too, so people can read the code if they want. Okay, so maybe this can actually be a little higher. The speed. Oh, that's wrong. I just changed the wrong one. This. A little higher. Whoa, too much. Too much. The squares are too small also. So maybe I can make them a little bigger. And then let's do this. Guess I'm saying they're going to be 200. Yeah, that's better. And then just getting the speed right, I think, is probably going to be enough here. And let's do, say, like 8 to 16, something like that, and then maybe 10 to 20. A little too fast. A little X and Y is just a little too fast there. I don't know. I don't want it to sicken anybody. That was my idea for a second background. So every game it'll pick a different, like a random background, circles or squares, and then it'll just set the background. So I have the code ready. If I want to drop that in, I can. It's kind of, it doesn't really look very good though. Oh well. It's all good. Just out of curiosity. CPU usage over here. %. So just drawing a handful of squares doesn't really take up much CPU. 10% of one CPU. Good. Cool. So I'll have that ready to go when if I want to put it in. I can toy with it a little. I toyed with the what do you call it? Circles for a while. Make them look good. So the first thing I need to do today is just get an options screen. We're going to get an options screen in here. Pretty important. Just have that. So I guess what I can have is ops equals false. I could also have the first thing I should do is load the options. That should be the very first thing. So options is going to be init ops. So let's write that function. Very first thing, function init ops. Why don't you go to the left? It does it sometimes. I don't understand. See, that time, so if you see, if I hit enter, it tabs me out one tab, and then if I type in end, that time it did it. It went to the left, as it should. It doesn't always seem to do that. I wonder why. So let me think about what my options should be. So options, here I have music on and off. I guess that's probably fine. Maybe like volume can be like 1, 2, 3, or 4. Like I can't do a sliding window. I don't know how. Maybe maybe 0. Maybe off would be 0. Like 0, like off 25%, 50%, 5%, and 100%. Okay, and then I don't need music on or off. So this is music volume. And then sound volume. Same thing. So those are some options. Windows scale. All right, what is... All right, 1.5. Okay, so Windows scale can be 1x, 1.5x, and then 2x. That's what I'm going to do. And it's going to get too big for my stream, so but people might want it in a window and they might want it big. And then I can do mode. Here, let's put some tabs in here so this makes a little more sense. Full screen window or full screen. So those are the options I'm going to give pretty much. I thought maybe like turn off the scrolling background or something like that. Maybe people don't want to see scrolling circles or squares if I end up adding those. But for now, let's just go ahead and do this. And what I need to do is figure out how do we do this. Here we go. I hate not knowing how to do file input output, so I'm gonna open up this Love file system page and see if I can figure this out. So I have no idea. The name of the file. So that we can start off with easily. Make sure the file exists. So if love file system get info ops.txt, then do something else, do something else. That's easy enough. So we need a local options. We'll call it ops. Okay, and then we'll say if the file does not exist, ops music volume, let's say vol equals, we'll do so it'll be like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll just set it to 25% by default. Ops sound vol 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That could be full, maybe 3. And window scale. Alt scale. We'll just do 1. And ops mode equals 1. 1 for window. So just by setting default, let's go back to over here. Contents size. Name size. I probably don't need to put all that in. This I actually am not going to know. Yeah, I'm not going to know that anything is loading and working. This is going to be a little frustrating because of that. Until I have the whole window set up, so I should have maybe set the options window screen up first. It's okay. Okay, and this is, maybe we'll just change this to options. Options. Because ops is actually ops. Ops is the indicator for if you're on the option screen or not. So we'll just keep this as is. I need to write it. Input data from options file. So we'll figure that out. Need to do. All right, I'll keep this handy. So figure that out after I get the options screen set up. So I think I need to do draws in my draw thing. Where's my draw? Love.draw. So if menu and not HS and not opts. If menu and else if menu and opts. Else, there we go. So here we're going to say draw opts. So under draw HS is where we're going to stick that. Oh, that's an ugly function. And we got another ugly function coming up. Okay. And what we can do is say, I need to be able to get in there. So if we're on the menus, we need to go to menu click. And I have a thing here for that. Option stuff. I don't need all those comments. Who cares about comments? Opts equals true. So now that'll let me go into the options screen. And I need to do a thing when I'm clicking a button so I can get back out of it. So key pressed is where we're going. That is going to be here. So if not menu, then we can go into the menu. Otherwise, we're in the menu. So if HS, so if you hit a button and you're in the HS screen, make that false. I'm going to say else if opts, then opts equals false. Otherwise, it's saying if you're actually in a game, an existing game, you can go back. I might want to have, if you hit escape, I don't know, might want to save the options. I guess I'm going to save the options if I make changes to the options. So I don't have to worry about that yet. But let's go ahead and draw the word. Figure out how to do this. And draw opts. I'm going to draw the word options at the top. Then we have a screen. And I could probably do a button in the lower right that says menu. Then I can do something called options click. So where is HS click? Right here. Opts click. And I can just do the same thing for now. And this will be opts. So I'm putting the button in the same place. Okay, and then I need to actually call that here. So else if menu and opts, then opts click XY. So just fitting that into the existing system. All right, let's get some errors. I'm in the wrong neighborhood. Yep. So high scores, good. Options. Options. Clicking, clicking, clicking. Nothing. Clicking, nothing. Escape works. Huh. Alright. Well, that should have worked. Else if menu and opts, then opts click XY. So just okay, it's not calling it. Not calling that function. Ops, right? Ops, yes. If menu, okay, I see. And not ops. There we go. clicking, 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 menu. So that works. Escape works. Actually, any button works. So we got an option screen. We've got an option screen. Can I just see something? LGUI. RGUI. If key is equal to LGUI or key. Something I've noticed. Is I'll hit like I'll be in the screen, I'll hit Alt or I'll hit Command, I mean, because like Command Q quits the game. And it was going back and forth when I would hit that. So now I just ignore Command. That's like a very Mac thing. Quitting, closing windows, quitting, like all this stuff. Command Q, very common. I don't think you really do that in Windows. Like, do people use Alt F4 anymore? I feel like people don't. Okay, but we have options. So now let's go and draw the options. Let's get that fixed. This should be 20 instead of 220. And then I should copy and paste this stuff here so I can see it. All right, love graphics print. And that'll be do like 60. Now we'll do 40. It's 48, so 68 plus 20, 88. I think 0 is rotation and scale. We might as well scale it down a little. All right. And then I can do below that. I need rectangles and I need things. Okay. Okay. Get everything set up in place first, and then I'll worry about the rest of the stuff. So we're gonna add, it's gonna be like sound volume. That should be plus 36, 88 plus 36, plus another 36. We're gonna say plus 10, so 170. Window scale. So what is that? 82. We're adding 82 to 52. Yes, and then we want music volume, sound, and then window mode. What is 25 plus 8? That's 33. 4. Right. Just see how that looks. Okay. It's all right. Maybe I'll give it a little more space for clicking. Maybe add like 20 to each of these. So 90, and we're going to add 40, and we're going to add 60. And maybe add a little more. 10, 3, we had 60, it's 4, 5. I have all the space, you know. I can also add a little to this. So let's just make this like 120. Then I added 12, so 22, 44, 66. And then I want to add 120. I think about 100. I add about 140. 260. 300. 400. And 540. All right, that should be good. I can move it a little to the right. This is why I'm so bad with doing like UI design, because I just sort of, I don't know the principles of doing it. I just pick places and I check, does that look good? And it almost like there's almost not enough room at the bottom here, so maybe I want to remove some of that. So let's do 120 instead. 60 and or 80. Because I'm just thinking like this dice here should not line up with anything I have to click here. So that's okay. That's probably good enough. Okay, let's do the ones here. So we're gonna do Love Graphics Rectangle. We're gonna do 3 of those. All right, so local fill equals, I'm gonna say line, 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 and then fill options, music vol plus 1 equals fill. And what we're going to do is for I 1 through 5, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. We're going to do this. It's going to be fill I. The X is going to be, say, 80 plus just give about 150 pixels times I minus 1. And the Y is going to be 1. Let's see, that's 156. So let's do 164. XY, and then let's do 40 by 40. Actually, let's do 30 by 30. Right. Like I said, I just try things out, see how it looks. Oh boy. Options, a nil value. Really? Oh yeah, okay. I think for my init options, I forgot to return options here. Funny, when you've run into the same mistake over and over again, it gets faster to debug it. Okay, so the default option is 25%, so it's 0, 25. I mean, that's perfectly fine. So maybe I want this a little lower and a little bigger. A little lower. Let's try this, and then a little bigger. Yeah, I need a little more. No, that's probably enough space, honestly. So I guess it was off 25%, 75%. Sorry, I don't know how to code sliders. It's not that I don't know how to code them. I'm sure I could work something out. It's just this is sort of the lazy man's option. Then we're gonna do love graphics print names dot I. And it's going to be, the X is going to be 80 plus 150 times I minus 1 plus 50. Then we're going to do, I need a scale. The scale is going to be, let's say 0.5, and that'll be 24. So plus 12. Try that out. Great. It works. And it looks fine. It's perfectly serviceable. Perfectly serviceable. I think after finishing this, one of the nice things will be to clean it up, clean up the code. So make things a little more modular, make things a little smarter. Take existing functions I've written and write them in the king's way. So that's what I'll work on next. But getting the game finished is a priority. Sound volume, so we need to do the same thing here. Same thing. Okay, so then we need to do this. Okay. That should go under here. And we can do this. And this should be, this is 120. 175, so it's plus 55. So plus 55, that's 295. Those are my default values. Perfectly fine way to do this. All right, window scale. I guess do that. And then what is it? It's options dot scale. How many scales are there? There's going to be 3. So this plus 55 is 415. I like being able to do quick math in my head. I've always been very good at that. But then the names have to be different. Do local names equals 1 x 1.5x. People aren't going to know what this means. That should be 3. You have 3 options now. Oh, and it should be by default, plus 1 equals fill, option scale, plus 1 equals fill. What is my scale by default? What do I, holy God, that's ugly code. What do I, I'm embarrassed by that function. If I can see it over here, like these 2 functions, oh, good Lord, they're gross. But, you know, whatever. Scale equals 1. So scale, option scale equals 1. Oh yeah, for that one you don't need the plus 1. And just to make things simple, let's just take out the plus 1 altogether. All right, let's go back to my init ops. Then music volume by default, this will be 2, this will be 4. All right, that should be fine. Here, there we go. 1x scale, perfect. And then window mode. Gonna set that back to line. And we're gonna do, call it mode or window mode. Guess we'll see. And local names equals window full screen. Yeah, and this will be plus 55. That's 230, 235, I think. 535. Yeah, make sure we got everything in the right place. We got everything in the right place. And maybe I can make those look like human words. Full screen, a single word or 2 words. Full screen versus full screen. I think it's full screen. Full screen. Full screen. Full screen. But I might change that to something else later. Okay. I mean, that's fine. I mean, it's fine. It works. It's not as good as a slider. Like if you want your volume at 65%, you know, there's not much you can do. If you want it at 35%, you're gonna have to use your speaker volume knob. Because I don't feel like writing code for a slider, and I'm almost positive there is a code library out there I could use probably. So I'm doing this the wrong way. But it's okay. So I guess let's write some of these coordinates down for the squares. Got that. Actually, maybe keep that up. So music volume, it's going to be 175. And it's going to be 80 plus 150 times I minus 1. And it's going to be 40. So then sound volume, the only thing that changes is the Y value. That's going to be 295. 175, 295. Oh, that's the X value. Window scale, Y equals 360. That's not right. 415. I want the rectangle Y scale. And mode, Y equals 535. Cool. So in ops click now, we just have to work these in to change the options here. So we need to have these values in here. So if Y is greater than 175 and Y is less than 175 plus 40, then music volume. Don't do that. Don't autocorrect. Else if 295 is sound volume. Actually, I think I want to put sound volume before music volume. Let's do that. I'll do that in a second. Let me write the rest of these. Mode. Okay. 295, 415, 535, 415. Let's go and I think sound volume comes before. Music volume, logically. .628. There's a problem on line 628. There's a bunch of garbage in there. Somebody put some garbage in there. The sound volume default 75. Cool. So that's good. It works. Let's go here. Okay, now put that back. Sound volume. So I guess let's calculate what these are. 150 plus 80 is 230. And just going to add 150 to each of these, and you're going to have 5 of them. So 380 or 530, 680, 30, 730, 830. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if x is greater than 230 and x is less than 30 plus 40, then else if, one word, do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it'll be 530, 680, 30. Wonderful. And what you can do is options sound volume equals 1. 3, 4, 5. All right, let's see if that works. The problem line 641. Of course, I did this again. I actually shouldn't need that anymore in here. Oh man. Why is that happening? There's a bunch of weird stuff happening here. All right. If y is greater than, less than, option sound volume. Okay, let's just see what's going on. All right, so up here, 400, 548. Okay, there's a problem with drawing the window scale, so I think that's in draw op, so let's fix that first. Should be scale equals, oh yeah, music, there we go. That'll fix that problem at least. Like this won't highlight anymore. And then for some reason, I'm like 1 to the right, so I just gotta fix these values. Click. I don't know what happened with that, but 830 plus 150 is 980. Is that right though? No, that's not right. So we have to go the opposite direction. So we're actually going to go 680. 680. I forgot because I was multiplying by 0. Okay. Makes sense in my head. I know what I did wrong. I actually was looking at it when I was doing it. And that's 80. I was like, I should make note of that, and then I didn't make note of it. All right, so now that should work. I could actually click and change this. All right. So what we can do is we can have a thing called local change equals false. And we can do change equals true. If a change is made. And at the end, we can rewrite the options to a file. If change, then change was made. We'll have that in there. We'll have that ready to go. So now this should be pretty straightforward and the same. It should be exactly the same, except instead of changing sound vol, we'll change music vol. Okay, and then for window scale, the values are all the same. I put them in the same place, but there's only 3. 1, 2, 3. Instead of that, we're going to do scale. And then for mode, same thing. But we only have 2. Okay, let me just test all that. Good. Good, good. So now I can write those out to the file, and then I'll have another function like options changed. So options changed. That's actually going to be its own function. So I'm just going to write a function to do it. Cool, and then I can write it out to the file. So what I'm going to do, how do you write to a file? Let's just see. I think I write to a file here. It's in fix my scores. I write to a file. So okay. So local data equals this, data equals data. We're going to do options. And we're going to do sound vol. Music vol. Scale. And mode. All right, let's go. No. What's the problem? Attempt to perform. Oh, yeah. Need a 2 do string or something like that. Is it? Yeah, that's it. That's not it. Vals. Data equals a string. Data equals data dot dot. All right, what's the problem here? To perform arithmetic on a string value. Okay, 684. Whoops, line 684. What's the arithmetic? Oh, goodness. That's what it is. Too many other languages will use plus. I think Python uses plus to concatenate strings. So that was the problem. All right, so it doesn't do anything yet, but can I open library, application support, love, dice, game, options, 22222. All right, cool. So now I need to actually, so if I run this, it's gonna crash. Oh, it didn't crash. There we go, crash when you go in the options. Because I don't actually have the thing to load from the file. So let's go into init ops. Need to do. All right, now I need to go to the website. File system read. Let's see. Let me just go into Lua for a second here. I figured this out a couple weeks ago. How to parse through a string. So let's say our values are equal to, wow, I was just like thinking I was writing an R for a second. Values equal 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So vals. So that's what I'm going to be importing. And what if we do vals match? No, it's not match. Add argument to match string expected got no value. Match, what was it? I didn't write it down anywhere. Was it? It was like, was it G match? G match, no. Bad argument number 2 to G match. String expected got no value. Is that just a random? Attempt to call? No. So G match and match are indeed functions. Okay, so I have to figure those out. And maybe it was match. Something like this. Attempt to call a nil value global match. No. String expected got no value. Bad argument. Okay. Well, what do you give it? What do you give string match? All right, let's Google it. Gsub. Of course, documentation. RTF Ring TFM is never helpful. Going to string dot match. Okay, maybe that's what it is. String dot match. And then you give it the string and then the format string. And let's go to the actual answer. It returns an iterator, so gmatch. Let's try gmatch. For I in this do print I. Okay, there we go. Figured it out. Haha. Thank you, random Stack Overflow users, for asking the question. All right, so I need that in there. Okay, now I need the Lua file system stuff. So we're going to do this, contents. So first load it. Let's call it ops file. And we're going to call it love.filesystem.read. Options. And we're going to make this local. And then we're going to go local vals. Do this. And then we're going to say for this in gmatch ops file. So a gmatch, essentially, I'm giving it a format string. So I'm looking for integers. This is like a C thing, but apparently Lua uses it too. I think a lot of languages, anything that uses format strings will understand this as integer. And string.gmatch, it searches a string that you're giving it, and it looks for that matching pattern, and it goes through all of the matching patterns. So it gives you an iteratable thing. So what we can do then is table insert vals and then I. And then we can say options. Yeah, doesn't matter, but let's just do it this way. Sound vol equals vals1. Actually, it does matter. So that should be pretty good. Default options. I just go to draw. No, it's changes. Options changed or something like that. Yeah. Sound volume, music volume. Yeah. Okay. So just making sure I'm writing them in the right order. Out of here. Run this. Run this. All right. I'm not sure what happened there. It's not loading them. Okay, maybe it returns it as. It returns it as a string. So maybe I need to return that as a number. So let's go back there. Init ops. I don't know if that's gonna work. Let's see what's in that file. Application support. Love. Dice game options. All right. Okay. So let's just try this. So we'll say 2x full screen, doesn't matter. 50x. So let's just see if I stay in there, that's still good. If I exit and then come back in, 50, okay, and then just set everything all the way to the left. Good, set everything all the way to the right. Good. 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 All right, so that works. So we have options, but it doesn't do anything yet. So I guess what I need to do is when I load music, load sound. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For I equals 1 to 7 do. What we're going to do is sounds I set volume is going to be options sound vol, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So minus 1 is going to be 25. 0.25 times that. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 minus 1 equals 0, 0. 2 minus 1 is 1 times 0.25. 2, 0.5, 3, 7, 5, and 4. So if it's 5, it'll be 5 minus 1 equals 4 times 0.25 equals 1. So that is correct. So let's just okay, can't hear it because I set it to 0. So that already works. So now let's set it to 100. You can hear it. Oops, let's set it to, so I don't actually have it changing, but let's set it to like 25. It's quieter. Change my volume here. Right now, let's go to options. Let's do 50%. I do have to exit in between. All right. I'll just have to assume. Can I just, instead of assuming, .5, 0.5, 0.75, 0.75. Okay, so I did the math right. That's good. Okay, and then music. This is going to be times options music vol 1. Same thing. Oh yeah, and that's not going to work. What I can actually do now is I can take this music equals false thing out. I don't think there's anything else with that. There's not. Good. So that's 25%. This might be painful, but I'm going to change it to 100. Okay, that was loud. Now I'm going to change it to 0. Can't even hear it. So it's playing. Okay, so good. Now for options changed, we can do change sound volume. Hey, Freeware Pirate. Kitty, do you want? You just got fed. I can't give you more food. So now this will actually change as I change the things in game. So let's just change the music volume. See what happens. Okay, it does. It does get louder. Sorry, my mic is picking that up. But it actually, ouch, don't bite me because I didn't feed you. But it actually does. It does work now. So if I do this, off, sound off. Okay, did not hear it. Did not hear it. Did not hear anything. But if I go into options and I say sound volume 100%, you can hear it now. Hooray. And if I just do 50, I think 75, let's do 50. You can hear it. So there we go. We got sound volume working. Okay. I guess now we need to do this. And right now, oh my goodness, it's just filling my screen. Window scales 2x. Okay, and that's actually not, oh, good lord. Okay, that I need to update. Oh my goodness, that's 1.5x. Oh, right. Right. So it's actually 1, 2, or 3. I don't know what pairs is. iPairs will go through a table and it'll give you 2 values. So it's for a for each loop. And you say for each value in a table, it returns 2 values. The values it gives you is number 1, the index, and then number 2, the actual value itself. So indexes and tables in Lua, they don't necessarily go. So first of all, they index at 1 by default, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you don't index at 0. But second of all, they don't necessarily index in that order or at all. They can actually have keys instead of indexes. But I think they automatically give you an index. So like the first key is still going to be 1, the second key is going to be 2. Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, I come from a C background, but I do a lot of R programming, and in R you start with index 1, so I'm used to that. So I guess what I'm going to need to have here is a scale thing. I mean, I don't want to actually do this math every time I have to change the scale. Like every time I need to have a multiplier, a scale multiplier for every single graphical value in the game. And I don't want to have to do a math function. So what I'm going to do is in init options, I'm going to calculate the scale. So if option scale is equal to 1, so you don't need parentheses, then scale equals 1. Else if options scale, this is just equal to 2. There's probably a math way to do this. Oh, there's certainly a math way to do this. I mean, it is a linear increase, but I don't really care. Else if options, I'm just going to do it, I'm going to spell it out because this is perfectly fine. Scale equals 2. Def. Indef. What is indef from? Else if. I want to write indef. Well, that's definitely a C preprocessor command, indef. That's why I want to say end if, because else if is one word. Okay, so then we got that. I think we'll just put in this scale here. So now also I need options changed. Scale, maybe scale equals rescale. We'll write a function to do that. So init ops, what did I call it? Rescale. Here's what I'm gonna do. Function rescale, and it's gonna be scale. Then you can say this, this, this. And what we can do is rescale and options scale. Okay, and then what's the other one? Changed. Okay, and I'm not assigning it. It's just like a global. So maybe I should assign it. That's kind of how I've been doing globals, but this is like, I don't think I need to. So I think I'll just change it inside that function, should be fine. So that should actually allow me to change the window scale. Attempt to index global options a nil value. Okay, 714, I know. Big O. Okay, so that is, it's bigger. It is 1920 by 1080 right now. And that didn't do anything. Oh yeah, it doesn't do anything yet. So now I actually have to change the window size. So window reset window. I'll call it set window. A function, call it set window. And this will actually be the first thing after init ops. Actually, I have to rescale. Function set window. And that's going to be called up here. Set window. And actually, I'm calling the game Dicey Poker, so I might as well change that. All right, so let's just see. I don't know if this will work. Let's just see what happens. Okay. Okay, it works. That works. I have to click twice because I'm not in. It doesn't think I'm in the window. That's kind of unusual. Set mode. This stuff also, I'm going to take that out of the final version. I just have the coordinates for it. This is kind of weird. I wonder why it does it that way. Like, it changed the active window. Every time I click an option in here. All right, so is there a way to set an active window in Love? That's what I need to do. Window. Set mode, what am I doing? Set mode, yeah. Set position. Set mode. Set full screen, okay. Well, that's one I'm gonna have to put in there. Position. That's the display mode and properties of the window without modifying unspecified properties. I see. think that's what I have to do. What I have to do. All right, so all right, and we'll put this back up here. See if that fixed it. Huh. Nope, it's still doing it. It's like it loses focus. It still says up in my menu bar, which you can't see, it still says love. So it knows it's in love. And that just not do what I thought it would do. Okay. Hi, kitty. That's the display mode and properties of the window without modifying unspecified properties. If width or height is 0, okay, it'll use the width and height of the desktop. Change display mode may have side effects. For example, canvases will be cleared. Make sure to save. I'm not using any canvases. Ow, don't bite me. Table settings, let's see. I'll probably need to do get mode, resize, dot window, that's everything. I mean, this is just, it's mostly just an annoyance. I'm in the window, I should be able to click here. And I click here, nothing happens. I wonder why. Like, okay, I'm gonna click here, I'm gonna click in here, so this should work. If I click something, it should work. But I'm gonna lose focus of the window, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna click right there. It doesn't work, and then it works. So I think, and then if I go to lose focus again, then I click here. I have to gain focus of the window. Oh, and I clicked again and nothing happened. So it's like, here, let's that out, close that. I have to click twice. Why? Why is that? What's going on that it doesn't like the clicking? All right, well I gotta add that to the back burner. I lose focus when changing options for some reason. I don't know why. If I click anywhere? Yeah, if I click anywhere, it's okay. Well, it's okay. All right, let's get that last one. Let's get full screen working. Yes, let's get full screen working. So go in here. I'm gonna have to do this get mode thing. Actually, let's change the thing first. So window, set full screen. So we're gonna just do that. Okay. If options dot mode is equal to 2, then, now what is that? What is this? Boolean, yes, a Boolean, true. Else, that's false. All right, and then what I need to do is I need to go window. I'm gonna need to, the scale is gonna be different because, well, I don't have any scale stuff happening yet, so let's just see what happens here. Nothing. Nothing happens. Good. Perfect. Perfect. Is that full screen? Enters or exit full screen? The display is used when entering full screen. Yeah, that's fine. True of an attempt to enter. Okay. So let's print. What's the output of that? Okay. Well, now it's in full screen mode. Did I forget to save the file or something? So now it's actually going in full screen mode. I don't know if that's showing up on OBS or not, but I'm going into full screen mode. So that's cool. That's what I want. Can I, what kind of full screen mode is this? Oh, good. It's one of these. So you can actually see, you can see the thing. It makes its own thing. That's great. Good. That's what I wanted. Okay, so that's fine. I think I just forgot to save the file. So let's just make sure that's what it was indeed. Okay, good. Beautiful. The mouse clicking thing bothers me a little because I don't know where that's arising from. Like, it's eating one of my mouse clicks, so if I click, nothing happened. And then I click again, nothing happened. So, like, in between, I don't know what's going on with that. I won't have to wonder. Why is it eating a mouse click? What would it possibly be doing? Is it something about the way love works, or is it something about my code? It shouldn't be my code. Because I'm still in mouse click territory. But it's acting like it's not. So if I do, let's just see this. Okay, it didn't register as a mouse click, but that time it did. Yeah, so whatever's going wrong. Just eating a mouse click after changing the window. It eats a mouse click. I don't know. It's not urgent. So figuring out the scale. So let's do that first. Let's go to rescale. What we're gonna say is we have to figure out the scale. If options full screen, oh no, mode is equal to 1, then base it on the window scale. Else, we base it on something else. So what do we base it on? We're going to base it on, I need window, and it's going to be get mode width height flags. Width height. equals love window get mode. And I guess, you know, God, if you have like one of those ultra wide windows, this game is just going to be horrific. It's going to be real bad. But if you have something, let's see, 10 by 9, I guess maybe I need a scale X and a scale Y. They should be the same. They should be the same. But they might not be. So should I scale X and scale Y? I guess I need 2 scale values. I just realized I used to do this with my SDL games all the time. I'd have to scale it based on the window size. It's funny, I forgot you need scale X and scale Y. So I guess what we'll do is we'll just do scale X, scale Y. Scale X, scale Y, scale X, scale Y. I need to go to set window. It's going to be scale X, scale Y. And this will just be for, you know, I think the two, obviously there are like ultra wide weird monitors and stuff. But commonly 16 by 9 is the most common resolution, but then there's 16 by 10 also. That seems pretty common. I used to have a list of them from Steam. It's probably changed over time, but those two resolutions seem, you know, the most common. So I'm going to assume that the person is not playing on a 4x3 monitor, but if they are, it should try to at least squish it into place. Actually, I say a 4x3 monitor, you know, an iPad is 4x3. So let's go back to rescale. Okay. So then we have width times height, and so what I need to do is divide it. So scale X is going to equal width divided by 1280. Scale Y is going to equal height divided by 720. So we're just scaling it by the factor of how much bigger it is than the default resolution, and that's pretty much it. So did I use scale by itself anywhere? I think I got everything. I'm just delaying, you know. I'm gonna figure out this mouse clicking thing. Do I not do new game? I just took that out of there, I guess. Wow. Okay, now I just need to go to all the draw functions. We just have to put this in every place. And what about the radius? That should be different as well. So I guess we'll just go with scale X for the radius. Anytime there's a single value, just go with scale X. Okay. Y. X. Y. This is draw menu. Y. X. This is going to be super annoying to go through and put all this in. And it's not the most robust way of doing it. Again, you can do things the king's way. You can do everything right. Or you can do things how you see fit. If it works, it works. If it works, it works. And it should look reasonably fine. It should look okay. We'll see. We'll see. So essentially what I'm doing here is I have a scale factor based on the window size. So if you make the size of the window bigger or smaller, or if you go full screen, which will most likely make it bigger, I guess it could make it smaller. You have a tiny monitor. 1280 by 720 is the default scale, and so what this is doing is it's adjusting where it's drawing everything based on the scale. I have a scale X and scale Y because you might not have a 16 by 9 monitor, or you might not have. So by default, the window sizes are 16 by 9, but you might not have a 16 by 9 monitor. It might be 16 by 10, or it might be 4 by 3. It's most likely going to be 16 by 9 for most people. But I say that, and even I have a 16 by 10 monitor in my laptop, so that's probably the only reason I ever thought of this, because my laptop monitor is not 16 by 9. So in previous game writing stuff, I actually had that issue where I had black bars. And I was like, why do I have black bars? And then I looked into it, I'm like, oh, I don't actually have a 16 by 9 monitor. How strange. And then back in those days, Steam lets you go up and look what the resolution sizes are for everybody who uses Steam. And I looked up, I was curious about all the resolutions that people use. It's a wide range. There are some ultra wides. And if someone's on an ultra wide playing this game full screen, I mean, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. It would be ridiculous. Maybe I should buy one just to see what it looks like. And is this the best way to do this? Absolutely not, I'm sure. There's probably better ways to do this. But because I'm using magic numbers everywhere too for everything in my UI. There's got to be a better way than using magic numbers. But, you know, whatever. It is what it is. Alright, we're through a few of the draw functions here. I knew this was going to be a little tedious. It's not that bad though. It's kind of zen. Scale X, scale Y. I gotta put parentheses around these calculated values. Multiply the whole thing. Makes it ugly. But it's one of those things, like if I ever want to make this nicer, I can. You know, I can, if there's a reason to, I can work on improving little things like this. It makes me realize I'm going to have to actually test this on my laptop too, just to see what it's all about over there. Is it going to look good on a 16 by 10? I don't know. I'm sure it will. It won't be perfect, but it'll look fine. See, the dice won't be square. They'll be slightly rectangular. and it'll make people realize. I could have also just done one or the other and just done a single scale factor, but then I think stretching looks a little nicer. Filling up the whole space looks nicer than having, you know, black bars at the bottom and top. Okay, what is this? This is draw button. So position X. Anywhere you gotta draw something, gotta scale it. And the draw chip. Right, I'm not gonna scale those, I guess. I'll scale those. So there I give them coordinates to my special drawing function. I'll scale it inside the drawing function instead. So not here. I don't want to scale it twice. Scale it twice. Be horrible. Chips. The chips. Oh yeah. A radius. We have to scale it. Did I scale? It just made me realize. Yeah. Okay, I got down to draw chip. Draw. I have draw options, did I? Ah, yes. But these rectangles, I need to scale them as well. So they're not just going to be 40 by 40. So thank you, chips. You made me realize that I have to scale the rectangles as well. I'll go through and I'll look at all my rectangles at the end. So we got down to draw chips. Draw chops? No, draw chips. There we go. Draw chip. Draw chips and draw chip. Okay. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some more water. Okay, I have returned. Okay, what is this? This is text, so we're gonna just scale that as well. Everything gets scaled. Oh, gosh, what about this, I wonder? I probably need to scale all the text as well. I guess I probably definitely do. Because, yeah, it's showing up there. But the scale will be like, by default it'll be 1. Yeah, so it's just like everything else. The text is gonna, I'll have to go through and do every single one. I'll have to find each one by one, find all the prints. It'll be okay. I want to make sure that this works before I guess I do that, but it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, and all the sprites I'll have to scale as well. So right now it's drawing them all in the right place, but they're not the right size. So that's, alright. Well, let's take a looky-loo. I got most of the graphics scaled. Options, a nil value, 111. Right. If options dot mode. Why is that a nil value? What calls rescale? I see. That should fix that. Let's go ahead and change this. Okay, so it is spacing everything out right. Everything, I knew it was drawing it wrong. And also the buttons are not going to be in the right place. So like if I click here, yeah, I clicked right here. It just went to the high score screen. The font is also not scaling. The sprites are not scaling. So I need to scale those. So I still need to scale everything. Size, not just in position. And I need to change the mouse clicking. So those are the things I need to redo, but it's not going to be that bad because I can look for everything as I go through. Oh, can I just see full screen of that? Oops. Oops. Oh my god. Okay, so it's probably, let's find high scores. There's high scores. There's options. Alright, we're gonna go full screen. So where would that be? That would be about here, maybe. Okay, let's go back. I lost it. Aha, I found it. Okay. Let's go full screen and just see if it's putting stuff in the right place. Okay, it is not. It is not. So, I'm in full screen mode right now. You can't see it because it's mostly off stream, but to the right and down, it's just empty. Oh, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, I guess that's just a situation where I just don't know. This. Okay, now if you change this and then hit escape, it doesn't swallow the key press. It swallows the mouse key. The mouse click though. I don't get it. All right. 1280. Okay, so that's a problem. I guess This is not the way to get the mode of the window. Screen modes. Get dimensions. Love window, get dimensions. Love window, get dimensions. Try that. Attempt to call field get dimensions a nil value. Is that removed? Aha! Removed in love. Oh, well, good. Thank you so much for including this in your Wikipedia, or your wiki, or whatever this is. Get width. Removed. Use love graphics. Get width. Okay. Love graphics. Okay, so they just moved it. Okay, well. 800 by 600. Why? Why? Why does it think it's 800 by 600? I'm not sure why it thinks it's 800 by 600. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure this out. This is confusing, but I'll have to probably read up on that. Full screen, figure out, get dimensions stuff. Okay, that's fine. For now, let's move the options.txt here. And we'll just deal with the default window for now. That. Turn that off. I have a few things to figure out on this, but let me continue scaling everything first. So go to the top and just work my way down anywhere that I need to scale anything. That's confusing to me. I wonder why it eats a mouse click. None of this. Alright, not that. Don't have to change that. Print. Anywhere I print, though, I have to do this. Add this in. So anywhere you're printing text, gotta scale the font. Make it bigger, make it smaller. Gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. I wish I could copy two things and paste two things. Need an extended clipboard. You know, I bet there are actually apps out there for that. Magic Clipboard is what it's called, probably. Something like that. I guarantee there are clipboard apps out there, but maybe not that do what I said, like have two values, like because I have scale X and scale Y, so I just have scale underscore on the clipboard, and I'm just like manually typing the X and Y. Well, this is a nightmare. This is a nightmare function. What I should do is read a tutorial or read somebody else's code and see how they do title screens and stuff, because I'm probably doing something way wrong. Obviously I am, but if it works, it works. All that matters. We just want a working game. If Toby Fox can write a game with a million if-then a chain with a million if-then conditions, then I can do a title screen with magic numbers and multiply everything by scale X, scale Y. See, I wouldn't have had to do this the way I'm doing it if I had built the scale in from the start. However, I might have forgotten that I'm going to need a scale X and a scale Y, and I might have just done one scale for everything, so that would have been pretty rough. I don't have this on GitHub. I'm just like, just on my hard drive. But I think it's on iCloud, so I think iCloud actually will keep file history if I need it. If I need to pull up an earlier version, I can. Oh, I also saved it as a .love file, so I have yesterday's as a .love file, at least. I start making big changes like this, and I start to get paranoid. Like, what if I break something unfixable? Well, it'll be okay. It will be all right. Quote the beta band. Scale X, scale it, scale it. Y, scale X, Grillex. Draw score, draw decider, draw dice. Yeah, there we go. So that's a sprite right there. Draw chips. Yeah. Probably having like a built-in constant for different font sizes. That probably would have been a good way to do that. And then just change it if the window size changes. Change the constants. And then I wouldn't have magic numbers everywhere there's font. Okay, so far so good. So that's all the draw functions should be fine. So I guess let's run it and see. I'm going to do a new game, and I'm going to go to the options. I'm going to change to 1.5. Okay, so that looks good. Let's go back to the game. That looks good. Everything fits. You can't see it because it's bigger than the capture area. But everything is looking good. So, I'm pleased with that. But I have to change all the mouse clicking coordinates now. So same thing, we just have to change I have to change the mouse clicking where it's checking. It's going to take the imported value and it needs to compare it. Be scale x, scale x, scale y, scale y. Okay. Whoops. You know what I could also do? Instead of doing all that, instead of having to go through and change all the clicks, I had a the King's Way kind of moment. We come here instead and we say x equals x divided by scale x. So we're like divide, let's say it's 1.5. So let's say normally you click at 20 and we're multiplying that one by 1.5, it'll change it to 30. However, if we're clicking at we're clicking at 30 and we divide it by 1.5, so we're scaling down the mouse clicks before going into the mouse click functions. So I don't have to worry about scaling all those functions down there. So I think that's even better. So I guess just working my way up, I should see, are there any draw functions I missed? That's like genius. Genius. And I think I did that in some of my older C games. I think I did it the same way, so I'm glad I have that experience to think, like, let's not change all the click functions. Yeah, so we're good. We should be good. This game should work. So it's not going to show up on the screen, I guess. Because it's too big, but, I don't know about that, though. Why didn't it? Alright, let's just see. I guess let's go back to mouse pressed. We'll call it new X, new Y. I don't know if this... Oh, that's Y. Right there. Alright, now it should work. That should be fine. So new game, menu, back to game, menu, high scores, looks good. Menu down in the corner, options, change this, change this, change this, looks good. Full screen is going to be weird because it's going to be... something's going on. Interesting. Well, it was working. It was changing it. It was changing the full screen mode. So it actually scales and looks good. I don't understand the full screen thing. So I wonder... how do you get the resolution of the... how do you get the current... if you're in a window, how do you get the current full screen resolution? That's what I want to know. That is what I want to know. So let's go graphics. It's going to be a graphics thing, I guess. Graphics state. Background now. No, none of this. Get. Coordinate system. Window. Get dimensions. Gets the height and pixels of the window. Gets the width and height of the window. Pixel height, pixel width now. Get canvas formats, max image size, renderer stats, ordered system limits. do this? How do you do it? Because what's happening is it's changing the window, it's changing the full size screen to like whatever scale I have set. So I actually need to, what I would like to do, like I'm in my main desktop mode right now that has a, you know, a size. I'd love to be able to figure that out. Like, what is it? Get modes. Width, height, full screen. Display width returns the current display mode. So I don't think it's that. It's a list of supported full screen modes. From smallest to largest. Check mode. Well, let's try Stack Overflow. Get current full screen resolution. Zero, zero, false, false. So if you set the window and height to 0 to make the window the exact size of the screen, it doesn't account for any OS Chrome. Okay. Okay, so we have to do that at the very beginning. It's gonna do a funky thing though. Gonna do funky things. So I guess I should do it when I do rescale. That window. Here's what we need to do. Full screen equals true. This is what we gotta do. Rescale after this. Okay, so if it's full screen mode, full screen equals true. We're going to do this, else full screen equals false. Do that. Rescale. Zero, zero. Rescale. Okay. Actually don't need to pass a number, just pass -1. Okay, that should work. So in here now, just logically speaking, if we do set window, if options mode is equal to 2, that means it's in full screen mode. You set it full screen mode equal to 0, then you change the window mode to 0, 0. Then you rescale, and it's going to come in here and it's going to say, this is the dimensions, find the dimensions, and then change the scaling properties. So that should actually work. You do it like that. Okay, so let's go to full screen mode. Oh, it made it a window. Oh, I see. There we go. That should work. Do it in the right order. Window mode, full screen mode. And it looks pretty sharp to me. Let's see if I switch between windows. Yeah, it's the same. It's not changing resolution on me. So, So just switching between, it's using my desktop resolution. It looks pretty nice. You can't see the whole thing because I'm, but you can see it's filling up here. You can see it's filling up the whole thing. So it looks pretty great, if I do say so myself. And if I change that, I just close this one. I guess I'd like to see make sure everything's good. All right. 2, 2. Okay. So it's not. I don't know why it's changing. Like it shouldn't. It shouldn't be changing anything. And I wish I knew why that mouse click was happening when I click the different scale. So I'm changing window scale here. When I'm in full screen, nothing happens, but it does like flicker. So it like tears down the window and makes a new one. So I guess what I need to do is I need a little more logic here. So let's go to option click and change. We're also going to have change display. Okay, window scale. If options mode is equal to 1, then change display end. All right, wait. You might be changing it to the same thing. So if options mode and options scale not equal to 1, there we go. We don't want to actually change the display mode if we didn't make a change. So if you click the same button, then you can change display. And we're going to say is equal to true. Forgot to put that part. This is a Boolean. It's a Boolean. Okay. And then same thing for here. If options mode is equal to 1, is not equal to 1, then change display equals true. End. Not equal to 2, otherwise. Okay. Change was made. Options changed. We're going to say change display. So options changed. Change display. I don't care about changing audio. You can't hear it. It doesn't even click or pop or anything. But if options, no, if change display, then we're going to change the display. All right, so I'm going to go into full screen mode here. And then I'm going to click the scale. Nothing happens when I click the scale. You can't see it. I don't think you can see it because it's like down here somewhere. But I'm changing the window scale. Nothing happens. Also, if I click window, nothing happens. It doesn't change anything. It's not eating a mouse click. Also, I don't lose my mouse click if I click on these. All right, so now let's go this. Okay, I do lose my mouse click still. Then full screen. Window, hang on a second. Yeah, I lose my mouse click when changing. That's so strange. But I guess let me set up a new thing here. I'm gonna hide this, and I'm going to do video. I'm gonna do screen capture, full screen mode, and I'm gonna do application capture. I'm gonna do this. Okay. And let's set this equal to full screen, fit to screen. Okay. So right now this is actually my full, you can see my full monitor size. So you can see when I click this, how it gets bigger. So now it's bigger on my monitor. And then if I go 2x, it's actually, I don't even see the full window on my monitor. It's because 2x, my monitor is exactly 2x, so a little bit of it gets cut off. But let's see if I go to full screen. Okay, it looks like you can see my whole screen. I can't see chat or anything because I'm in full screen mode. But I'm going to check on my phone real quick. Yeah. And see how that looks. Mute so I don't echo. Okay, good. Yeah, so you can see the whole thing, it looks like. So this is a full screen for me. I'm in full screen mode. This is what I'm seeing on my full screen. So that's pretty cool. So I can do some tests here. I could do a few test rounds and just make sure everything works. Like all the text, all the fonts are in the right place and everything like that. And I could even put the music on. And I'm not sure if that gets captured or not, but let's put that on and see. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's getting captured. I'm going to lower the volume of that a little. It seems a little loud. All right. This does not matter. So this is what I was saying before. Like if I change the window scale and I'm in full scale mode, it doesn't matter. I should gray those out or something, but whatever. Why are you meowing at me? All right. Everything looks good. Wow, it's so big. Let's see, 156 or 60? Not even a question. The Full House is better than the 4 of a kind. I'd rather go with that. If I get a 4. I didn't, but I got 2 5s. That's nice. I like my full houses, you know? So yeah, I get a lot of full houses. That's what I play for. They seem to get the best. It's the best risk versus reward. That's like the 3rd time I got 2 3s and 2 1s in this game. Okay, the high score screen looks good. It's working great. I tied my other previous score, I guess. Don't see that very often. Everything's where it needs to be. Everything here looks fine. I mean, this is just ugly. So that's pretty great. Let's go with the 3s. Go with that. Look for the full house. Got one. Whenever I have 3 of something, a 3 of a kind, I always re-roll with my next highest dice. Oh, this is a bad hand right here. I always have a better chance to get a 4 of a kind or a full house if I do that. Yeah, I don't know. I've played this game so much, I kind of have a good handle on the probabilities at this point. And sometimes you just aren't lucky. That wasn't a very good hand. That wasn't a very good game, I guess. 4 of a kind is terrible. Well, that's better, right? Yeah, 60 points versus 156 points. 1s are just worthless. You get 1s, you're just not gonna have a good day. It's like with Balatro and face cards. Like, I always go for face cards. I mean, there are perfectly valid Joker strategies in that game. To use non-face cards, but I always tend to gravitate towards face cards. So in this, I gravitate towards 5s and 6s. And full houses. Full house. 216, 240. Okay, well, it seems to be good. The circles seem to be good too. So that was another thing I was a little worried about, like the circles maybe being not being drawn correctly, but it seems okay now. So let's go back to window mode. Let's turn the music off. Hide this, and then show this. So, great. That's fantastic. Do have one problem though. Figured out the dimensions of full screen. That was pretty straightforward. Why do I lose focus when changing window mode? A mouse click gets eaten. Like a mouse click disappears. Oh, and I have a print thing happening here. What's going on with that? Something else is, yeah, it's fine. Something else is printing. So that's in options changed. Change display. It'll be in that window. That window. So it does it whether it's window or not, and I guess set mode is called Love Windows set title. That, I guess I don't have to do that every time. So maybe I can do that just right at the beginning. Well, that, do you have to rechange that? So it says Dicey Poker. Let's change the window. And it still says Dicey Poker. Okay, so it's not that though. It still eats a mouse click. I mean, it's a simple thing. You just click twice and you get past it, but what if I wait a few seconds? Will that fix that? So let's change window scale. Okay. Gotta wait a few seconds. No. It also, I mean, if I hit escape, so options, escape. So there, if I hit escape, okay, it takes that, but it loses the first mouse click. So I just clicked on options, and I click again. So no matter what, it seems to lose a mouse click. I wonder why. Why does it lose a mouse click? And I'm pretty sure this doesn't get called when you do that. Function love mouse pressed. But this gets called. Why does this get called? Key press gets called. Maybe also do these in a different order. Set the mode, set full screen, and then figure out your scale. Set your mode, set full screen, and then figure out your scale. I think that's probably okay. Do it the same just to have that. Yeah, everything seems to work. Seems to work. But it eats a mouse click. Where does that mouse click go? It does not eat a key press, and if I use a key press, it acts on it, but then it still doesn't like the mouse click. Set mode. All right, well, love window set mode. Let's go into that on here. Love window set mode. Why do they still have set mode over here? Why isn't that graphics? They moved that other stuff to graphics. Moved from. So some stuff moved from love graphics. Some moved to love graphics. These are the flags. Index of the display to show the window in min width, min height. No. Coordinates. Used pi scale. DPI. Used DPI scale. Don't have to worry about that. Full screen type is desktop. Full screen type, was that up here? Full screen type. This is something that SDL does, and games will do this. They have different full screen types. Desktop is just like a window, borderless window that maximizes to your desktop, and that's what I find is the best full screen mode. I think that's default, I guess. Defaults to normal. Oh, it defaults to normal. Oh, it defaults to desktop. Okay, so maybe I should do that. Just specify that. And it shouldn't matter. But I don't want it to do normal. Normal sucks. Okay, eats a mouse click. okay. If you have disabled the window and use this function to manually create the window, then you must not call any other no, I don't think so. Chat GPT, let's see what they say. All right, what is this function? It's set mode. Oh, you know, the chances of this actually giving me an answer are not very good. Let's see what they say. It sounds like you might be encountering a common issue in Love2d, where the window loses focus after resizing. When the window loses focus, it might not register mouse clicks until it regains focus again. That's what I kind of thought. This can happen when you call Love window set mode. Explicitly setting the window to regain focus after resizing. You can do this by calling Love window request focus after Love window set mode. Is that so? Love window request attention? Love request focus. Love window request focus. Causes the window to request the attention. So that's like it'll alarm, it'll like give a beep or something. Maybe they change that over to graphics. Window. No. Is it an old thing that they got rid of? Or is this Chat GPT hallucinating? Request focus. Whoops. I already tried that. Maybe it's a set command. Set full screen. It's in graphics. Yet. All right. Mouse focus. Check if the game window has mouse focus. All right, that's what I want to just, let's verify. False, true, 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 true. Weird. False, false. Change that. True, true. So maybe it's not that. False, false. So that's like at the very beginning before it sets up. Set window. When does it do that? Rescale options, then set window. So yeah, it rescales and then sets the window. Doesn't have mouse focus at the very beginning, but it's telling me it does. It obviously has keyboard focus. This is so bizarre. ChatGPT just made that up. What about the focus function? Love.focus? Doesn't exist. Unless it's here. Functions. General. Callback triggered when window receives or loses focus. Mouse focus. All right. All right, let's put that in there. Let's just monitor. False. True. False, true. Change that. Can't see it. False. True. It says true. It says true, but if I click, it doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. The first click. Second click only. 1, 2. Why that is? So it's not a mouse focus issue. This is let's go to my to-do list here. Stats reset button. I got the options done. I have to debug. Mouse click. Options. It's not just in options because if I escape out of that screen, I still don't have a mouse click. Stats reset button and then BG2 if I want it. Otherwise, the game is done. I mean, this game is pretty much finished. So debugging this little weirdness. Stats reset button. Mouse pressed. Checks if the mouse is grabbed. I wonder, is that getting called? Maybe not. Wait, let's see if that's what it is. Release the mouse button, options, window scale. I did not see this was not viewable because of the window size, so I'm going to have to just got 3 releases, so I'm going to click. It got released. Click again. It did not get released, so the mouse button is not released. So that's the problem. When I change the window, it still thinks the mouse is pressed in. That's the issue. So, is there like a sleep command here? Like a wait, love, event? Here's the event queue. What does that mean? Wait, like love event poll what blocks until there's an event in the queue. Okay. Got it. Event wait. How do you... So I don't think that's going to do it, because if you just move the mouse and it's still pressed in, key pressed, mouse pressed. I guess this is what I'm going to do. If menu and ops, then ops, click XY. Okay, now it works. So I have the mouse button pressed in right now, but if I release it, it changes the option. So it doesn't eat the mouse click down. So what's happening is the release of the mouse button gets lost for some reason. And I don't like... If you click a little slow, I don't like the way that responds. But what happens is when I change the window mode, it loses the mouse release button. And like the event, it must happen at the same time. And the mouse release, it's never sent to the window. And so it never registers. And so it still thinks the mouse is like pressed in. And so that's why it would eat the next mouse click, because the next mouse click, it thinks it's pressed, so it doesn't count the pressed event. But it does count the released event. And then it would do the next press event. So that's weird, but I mean that's a way to do it. I guess that fixed it. Cool. And I only use that for this screen. All right, I debugged it. I figured it out. I wonder if there's a way to clear mouse press. Because that would be the better way to do it. The king's way to do it. I'll have to look into that later, I guess. Okay, well, I did it. Let's look at stats reset button. I'm gonna take out BG2. That'll be for version 2. That'll be the next big thing. We just need a stats reset button. So the first thing I need to do I need another one of these. For 120, so 280. Another button. Actually, probably could use 2 buttons. Like 3 buttons. Are you sure? Yes, no. Maybe. I don't know. Give someone the chance to just delete their whole livelihood. Yeah, that's just what we're gonna do. Just gonna do it this way. Alright, now I need the word reset stats, the words reset stats on there. So let's go ahead and do it. This is the problem I had in stream number 4. Yeah. That needs to be made smaller. What was it, 33? Back to that. Is that the right size? It doesn't matter. It's not. I guess the menu button is going to be on that. So I guess I do want it 48. It does fit. All right. Back to here. Okay, so let's just make sure everything lines up here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. And it's gonna come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this one's gonna come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. Check. Looks good. That's stats. Okay. Cool. We have 19 sprites now. And on the stats, what is it? Draw. Yes. Let's do this here. Let's make it red. Because it's a bad thing. This will be, how many were there? I forget already. Sprite number 19. And this will be 120 before, so 020. Then 20, a little buffer. Let's just make sure that that looks good. Reset stats. Okay, and then we need to go to HS click. And we're going to say if x is greater than 1000 and x is less than or equal to 1120 and y greater than or equal to 580, y less than or equal to 700, then set stats, it'll be its own thing. Reset stats. Let's see. For I equals 1 to 8 do. That's hand counts I equals 0. And hand vowels pause equals 0. So that's just going to set the stats to 0. And you know, it's kind of precariously placed there. You can really destroy your stats. And then it's just going to write it out. So I need to fix stats. All right, let's try it. Reset stats. So we have a bunch of stats up here. Reset. It's all gone. And if I quit and reload, they're still gone. Did that reset the high scores as well? Probably. Probably. Probably should. Or should I have reset scores? Because a third button. I think I should have a third button for that, so let's go ahead and put that in. Gotta make it first. Oh, 400. You're just so desperate for food, but you've been fed every time today. I can actually, oh damn, it's small. Score. Reset score. Yeah, I'll do that. Ouch! Hey. Come on. You bit me. He bit me. Gotta just do reset score for that button. Because people will know what it means. And scores will not fit. All right, what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 7, 4, 6, 5. And it's 4 in between, so everything works. Reset stats, reset score. Okay, good, good. We got 20. One more button here. That's button 20, and that's going to be 1000 minus 120, which is 880, minus another 20, which is 860. And then HS click. $80. 120, 980. Function. Whoops. Oh my god. Yeah. That's high score. I'm just gonna do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 because that's the way fix high scores works. It assumes there are 11 scores in there because it keeps track of the top 10. It assumes there are 11 because after a game it adds your current score to the list. Then it sorts it and then it saves the top 10. So I'm just going to change it to 11 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, now we have that. Whoops. The reset score 0. It's just they're in red. And maybe I can change the color of this this button. Be a little friendlier. So we're gonna make it cyan. See how that looks. Yeah, it looks friendlier. It stands out. Reset score, reset stats. Reset. Cool, so I guess the game is finished. Just have to figure out how to deploy it as an exe file. I could definitely deploy it as a love file. I know how to do that. This has been a learning experience. That's the whole point of this game, is to be a learning experience. So I probably won't do a stream about deploying it. This will probably be my last stream for this game unless I want to improve it and make it better. But for the time being, it is what it is. Seems to work pretty well on my computer. I'll figure out how to deploy it as an executable. I'll test it on my Windows machine and on my iPad. It works on my iPad, I already know that, but now after adding these options, maybe not. I don't have my name anywhere on it. Like I don't have an about screen, I don't have a splash screen, anything like that. But I could put my name somewhere on here. If I move these up a bit. This should also be on a how to play screen instead of, you know, the title screen, but I mean, this isn't meant to be like something that's going to sell 1 million copies or anything. I'm just going to distribute it for free. And this is ugly. This could be a slider. Full screen mode, yeah, that's great. It looks good in full screen. It looks sharp. I know you can't see the whole thing, but it looks pretty great. Plays pretty great. It's a fun game, so I don't know. Maybe I should change these blue ones to cyan, because the blue is a little dark. So anywhere there's a 0, 0, 1. Change that to cyan. No, that chip can stay 001. This is button though. Zero, 001. Chip. Yep, that's the last one. So I just change all the blue buttons to cyan, which is a little nicer. Back to game menu, options, menu, high scores. Back to game. New game. Yeah, this was really easy to do. Putting the calculation in there. I thought that was going to be hard. And that was like a 10 minute or 20 minute thing. Don't verify the numbers. It probably took me an hour and it just felt like it didn't. So that might be what I do for the rest of the day, or not what for the rest of the day, but what I do now is figure out off stream how to deploy this as an executable file for Windows. Test it on my Windows computer, test on my Mac. It runs fine on my Mac. It does say love, it calls it love in the menu bar. I don't know if I want that. But I mean, it doesn't matter. Oh, and I should figure out where to put my name in this. So where would my name go? Options. High scores. I don't know. Here, high scores. On the title screen, I could say Dicey Poker by Ethan at the top. A game. Ethan game. I don't have my company because I haven't actually registered a company. I'm not going to spend money until I'm ready to, you know. And I actually want to change this as well. I want to change these button colors. And the red. Exit. Do this. Not for those. Okay. Not a lot of buttons. Just change them to RGB, like not RGB, cyan, yellow, magenta. So that's a little nicer. Now why did that just happen? New game, menu, options, menu. Why does it do that? I haven't had that happen before. Oh my goodness. An error. That's great. New game, menu, options, menu. Aha, 778. Attempt to perform arithmetic on a local new score, a Boolean value. Interesting. Score equals score. Okay. So it's coming into phase 2 click. Phase 1, 2 click. Ah. Okay, so moving down the options click to the other area. Fortunately, where is it? Mouse pressed. We just have to put that in. New game, menu, options, menu. Options, menu. Back to game, menu, options, menu, high score, menu. Yep. So essentially what it was doing was it was counting that as a mouse click in phase 2. Of course. Because it changed the way the function worked. Full house is better. The 4 of a kind. Alright, I got a single bug. And I fixed it immediately. How fast it was. Just fixed it right away. I have a 4. Try to re-roll a 4. Yeah, I got one. Cool. Yeah, where do I put my name? I could move all these up like 30, 40 pixels, then put my name down in the bottom corner. I think I'll do that. So let's do draw, menu. Draw wins. We're gonna move everything up 40. So Hmm. 40. 40. So was this game worth working on? Was it worth spending the time on? I think so. I learned a lot about love, about life and love, now about Love and Lua. How's that look? I guess it looks okay. What happened to this thing though? The example winning hands. Did I delete that? Oh, 800. What was that? It was it should be 80. No, it shouldn't be 80. 180? Nope. What's the next thing? 170. So it should be like 40 before that. Let's try 130. No, it should be a little higher. Alright, and then down in the corner, you can do love.graphics.print game by Ethan. And then that'll be at like 1,000, and it'll be like what is the scale is going to be point, so it'll be 36. 36. So it's 720 minus 36 minus 20. 664. All right. Let's go a little more to the left. Make it a little smaller too. So that is going to be 24. So 720 minus 24 minus 20. So 676. Actually, that might be in the right place. Go a little to the right, about 30 pixels to the right. So I'll try 20. More. Looks good. There's my name. My name's on it now. Only one, Ethan. Actually, there's somebody on Twitter who uses Ethan, but they have 0 posts. They're not me. I used to have that username on Twitter, but I deleted that one probably like 12 years ago. Alright, well, that's gonna do it for me then. It's the end of my stream. Project over. How sad. Actually having a pretty good run. Oh well, perfect run over. Still, pretty good score. I think my highest score is like 2400 or something like that. Okay, yeah, like I said, it's gonna do it for me. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks for watching, and take it easy. Have a good Sunday evening. Bye.